Well, the conversation about dualizing highways and getting two drivers for long journeys have become proposals to help curb avoidable accidents. My colleague Roland Walker visited the Neoplan Station here in Accra to gauge the opinions of drivers and passengers alike. Here's a summary.
24 hours after that horrid accident was recorded on the Kintampo Road, it brings to mind many of the related issues that JoyNews and the rest of the multimedia channels have been talking about. And we're talking about the campaign Arrive Alive. Now, it also brings to the fore the need for a more concerted effort. But what a better way for us to increase the conversation, the tempo of it, and also enrich what the discussions will be that will influence not only the minds of the ordinary motorists, the drivers, etc., but those who have to enforce regulations, those who have to implement laws, and those even that are occupying the top echelons of Ghana's ministries, departments, and agencies. Look, we're here at the Neoplan Station right here in Accra, what you can also call the Odona Station, just adjacent. But when the driver starts the journey, the conversation should be about how they can be in one piece. We'll be speaking to officials of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union who are the Neoplan Station right here and the Odona adjacent ones, and then also speak to a number of the drivers as well. Name, sir?
I'm Otis.
Otis. And you work with the GPRT?
Yes, please.
And I'm sure that you've worked with as a transporter with all these drivers over the period, won't you say?
Yeah, we've been working with them for some time now.
Okay. And then I also have a number of officials here. Brad, on the member didn't come to say?
Yes, I don't know.
Great. Your friend saying?
A friend Bishop.
Bishop. Ah, so that's the Bishop of the Neoplan. This is the Neoplan Station, right? Of the Neoplan Bishop Obinim. What's your friend saying?
No, not fully.
Not fully. Okay, so but let me start with you. If you can just so that we can get a proper view of you and give space to Nano for you also to be within the frame. What sort of, as GPRT, education do you give all these drivers, the porters and their mates, etc.?
Thank you. First of all, we would like to say GPRT, we run programs for them. Just like last week, there were road safety was here to organize a course, a refresher course for all the drivers just last week. Then next week we also have another program for we the executives and our drivers. We always try to advise them, guide them. You see, when they load from this terminal and they are on the road, they are on their own. But calls and other stuff comes in, which we do call drivers. If they are driving bad on the road, we do call them back to correct them.
So what you're saying is that sometimes you get some responses from the passengers?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Now, let me just avert your mind to the Kintampo accident, and is the newest we have currently. But we know that we've been consistent with the accident, and since January up to now, they've just been piling up. Usually, as an administrator, somebody who interacts and supervises with the drivers, when you hear of such news, what comes to mind?
It's always sad because you never know. I myself, I might be a transporter, but my wife and my children might be on the road traveling. And when this happens to them, whether you are a transporter or any other, you will feel bad because you don't know the people on board. It might be a brother of mine, a sister of mine. So when it happens, first of all, it affects us emotionally as human.
Akwehie sana te se enrade yi se na ahomache de no esi wo Kintampo kwan no so no eya mote sana e de na ba modwem ase moye driver for porters ne mate for ne sa anyama no
me ade ba kwan ya na me hu no se ensem ba bi se na se ye ka bibi efa nkwanhia no ho ana se ne e ma esia me hu no se enya ade e ko ba bia ye drivers ne de ye ka ya sema e be ka bie ne wa ase e ko ba bia ba senka mutie de yen so ye ka no so a e na ban no e boa ye ne a efi se nka enema betimi atotoye efi se uhwe bibi ti se drivers a yisu buses na dodo na hono ma yentu omuka wo so ho ntu omuka and I'm said driver phone ni kama phone ni no obiara ni hono ma oboa drivers de bia asem no ba ya na mo ye good driver for so hwe from Accra to Boko na driver ni ba akopɛ o sister nanim na o ko Boko
and he is saying that when the incident happened, it looks like those who are heads of authority, and I'm sure even the media is also included because it's a broader conversation when some of these accidents do happen, don't seem to talk for the drivers. Then he zoomed in or transitioned into a discussion about how drivers sometimes are not well paid, and he gave an example of how a driver alone would have to sit in a big bus and drive all the way to Boko, for example.
A driver driving all the way from Accra to, let's say, Boko, normally we advise that the drivers are two, normally, when they are going on such journeys. But you see, these drivers, there's also the issue of this one doesn't trust the other. So let's assume if I give this bus two drivers to take it from Accra to, let's say, Boko, there is a possibility that one of them will say, okay, I'll drive in, then you drive out. Meanwhile, that is not the intent. The intent is to let one drive halfway, then the other continue. But these drivers have their own, in quotes, spiritual issues and other stuff. I will not be okay working with this one. But we will be on the same bus driving to Boko. He thinks probably there's something that you do to take over the car.
But those are just human elements, etc. How do we make sure we streamline some of these things so that there's become some policy issues that could run through across all the transport operators, all the relevant stations across the country?
Thank you. I think going forward, GPRTU at the moment is looking at that part, that we will enforce two drivers on board for buses that will be traveling far. That is what we are looking at it. Unfortunately,
Has it come up in any meeting you've attended?
Yes, please. As a matter of fact, when GPRTU were launching the small Toyota buses, we had a small meeting that our regional chairman actually discussed that whenever we are traveling or the bus is on a long journey, we should consider having two drivers instead of a driver and a mate. Why not use two drivers? Then one will act as the mate. Because we have issues where a driver was traveling and he fell sick. The journey was not that long, but we had to send a driver from Accra to Nkoko to go and take. So we are considering having two drivers on board.
Well, 24 hours after news broke of the accident, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has tweeted. We're going to go on Twitter in the short. That's it. It says, my sympathies and condolences go to all the families and loved ones of the deceased in Monday's horrific accident on the Kintampo-Tamale Highway. May their souls rest in peace. I also wish the injured a speedy recovery. So that's a tweet coming from the president after that accident that happened on the Kintampo-Tamale Highway, what we've just been reporting to you about fallout of that accident.